All right, hey y'all, this is Karma. Just coming in to give you guys some insight into what we are exactly dealing with and what is to come. I know right now for many people this is kind of a precarious time and we don't really feel like we have all of the clear information because we don't. There is no way I would get on a plane right now, so do with that what you will. I had a dear family friend pass on a 1996 Boeing from New York to Paris. And, you know, that could happen at any time, but this just seems to be a recurrence that continues. And it's because we truly, as Americans, are not protected. We don't have a CDC. We're no longer a part of the World Health Organization. So even if there was some sort of illness, you know, going rampant through our world, our country, we wouldn't even know. So this is why community support is so important, especially during this Pluto and Aquarius. That's what this is about. I made a video like almost 2 years ago about how we'd probably have to grow our own food and how many people are probably not going to be meat eaters anymore. I'm very, very close to being on the verge of becoming a vegan, and I've wanted to do that for a long time. I mean, I'm a Virgo rising, so makes sense, right? A lot of Aquariuses, I feel like, are vegans and vegetarians too. But this is a time to really hone what are your skills? What are your gifts? Because I know that it feels like really unmotivating, especially because we do have Mars retrograde. Like, I wanted to open a storefront business and I'm going to put that off for now. But that doesn't mean I'm going to let go of my dream. I'm still going to do it, but I'm going to do it in a calculated fashion. And I feel like we do need to be calculated at this point. Even T-Mobile is now being linked to Starlink. If you have a T-Mobile phone, have you noticed how they keep wanting you to update your phone? Personally, I'm never going to update my phone. I don't think I'm going to upgrade my phone. I have a 13 iPhone and I'm just going to keep it that way because I feel like it's like considered a flip phone at this point. We do have Mars going direct on the 22nd, and I'm going to keep saying this until hopefully somebody listens. Please stay out of crowds right now. There is about to be a very violent upturn as we get closer to the 22nd, and I don't want to scare you, but I am a realist, and even though I'm an optimist, I'm a realist, and Mars retrograde is an aggravating, agitating, frustrating time for everyone, and it depends on what area it's transiting in your chart, but in general it's just not a favorable time. And when planets go retrograde, please don't say in retrograde. That's like my pet peeve. Like, it's not in retrograde, it's retrograde. The day that it retrogrades and the day that it goes direct, meaning not retrograde, it's the most profound, and it it will sometimes slap you in the back of the head with the 2x4. So you have to really be aware. And that's why I really suggest downloading Time Passages, TIME Passages. I'm not sponsored by them, but I've used that app for, oh my gosh, probably at least a decade. And the premium version is not that expensive. It's well worth it. So we do have a lot of intense stuff coming over the next few months. And I've seen people post there like, stop acting like the astrology coming forward isn't going to be bad. It's like, bro, the astrology that's coming forward is aligned with the American Revolution. So unless you're just like totally like not aware of any history, you're in for a rough ride. Remember, education, reading, making a community, focusing and honing on your talents and your gifts. Those are the things that are going to be the most important right now. As Mars turns direct, it's going to turn direct in the sign of Cancer. I kind of laugh because I can't stand Elon Musk, but it's in his first house of self. And it's just like so funny to just watch him like burn like to the ground. Like, he's just such a weird dude. And like, it's just so funny like to see astrology play out in the celebrity field, because I'm just like, bro, let's be real. Money can't buy you everything. But as Mars turns direct, it's going to go direct at 17 degrees. So pay attention to 17 degrees. If you have planets around 17 degrees, or if you're a Cancer rising, it's probably been a really challenging time for you. It's probably been a time when people have really pressed up against you and been quite volatile and even mean. But then it's going to start moving again through the degrees, and it's going to reach Leo. So think back to about December 15th, around Christmas time, how you were feeling, because that's going to be brought back up again. So if someone reached out on the 15th of December, 15th to the 25th, when Mars was in Leo, they'll be back. They always come back. So that's a lesson of life. But so, who's a Leo rising? Mr. T. And I feel like things are about to get really crazy. So, I'm going to get my Carrie and C. I never thought I would ever do that because I'm more peace oriented. But at the end of the day, we need to protect ourselves. We need to make sure we have food, things that are really shelf stable, beans, rice, flour, nutritional yeast. If you would like me to make an actual list of the things that I think would be wise to prepare for, and I understand that a lot of people are struggling financially. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go and go crazy, right? But the Dollar Tree has a lot of great stuff, and stuff around your house, and also building communities where we can pitch in as a community. I'm going to start a community garden because I don't trust the produce that's coming into our homes anymore. I don't want to get listeria. I don't want to get sick. I got food poisoning a few weeks ago from something I bought from the grocery store, and it was terrible. So we have to really be careful right now, you guys. I know that ignorance is bliss, and it's so easy just not to think about it. And as Americans, we're so traumatized from everything that's happened over the last, I don't know, 15 years. I mean, I have Pluto in Scorpio, so I mean, I saw the Twin Towers go down. I remember very, very, very precisely the day that Columbine happened. It's right down the street from my house. And I can't imagine what the children of today are going through because it's very scary and we have to protect ourselves. So this is giving 2020 vibes, not in the same way, but you do need to prepare yourself, okay? This is not the time to spend, to go on vacation, to do exuberant. We have multiple retrogrades coming up. So, yes, we have Mars going direct, but then we have Venus and Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Aries and Pisces. So, look to where those signs are in your chart, like what house they're in. And if you're not sure, drop your Venus and Mercury placement, and even Mars placement, and I'm happy to tell you. But, this is a warning. I mean, I don't think all is lost because I think Americans are different. I think we're definitely individualistic type people where we're going to fight. But at the same time, you have to prepare, right? It's like if you go hiking and you go off trail and you don't bring enough water and you don't bring enough snacks and then you get lost and then you're in this really bad, precarious situation. You don't want to be in that kind of situation. You want to be in a situation where you're empowered. It may still be stressful, but it's not going to be as dire because you're prepared. Now, I'm not telling you to go and buy a bunch of random stuff you don't need, but you just need to be prepared. You need to have water for you, for your pets. You need to have food because things are going to get very, very intense over the next few months. And again, I don't want to scare you because fear will immobilize us. It will not empower us. So with Mars turning direct, you just have to be aware that things are going to get a little crazy. They really are. When Mercury retrogrades, it's going to retrograde. And I always think about where the last retrograde was, and that was around the popularity contest. So I feel like there's going to be info brought up around that. I actually feel like foreign countries are going to come in, especially NATO, and they're going to assist with this situation because nobody wants to lose their freedoms. Nobody on this land is illegal. To be honest, and this may be an unfavorable opinion, but if you're European, you're technically an immigrant. So the only people that are not immigrants are indigenous people. This is why education is important. This is why reading is important. This is why having critical thinking skills is important, because there are so, and I'm white, okay? Like, but there are so many white people that think that really they are like the superior and that this is their land, and that is not true. And so, I think it's important to recognize that almost every single person that lives in this country that is not indigenous, their ancestors came from somewhere else. My great grandmother showed up at Ellis Island and got on a boat from Switzerland and came here. Okay. So like, we have to be real with ourselves about the history of America. And I feel like because we are having this Chiron return, Chiron is in Aries, it is a very painful experience to realize the truth and to acknowledge the history. I mean, when I found out that aristocratic Europeans were cannibalizing mummies, that really didn't sit well with me. But the only way we can overcome that is to come together as a community and see people for what they really are, people. They have lives, they have families, they have hopes, they have dreams, they have children, they have pets. So nobody is more deserving than anyone else to have the freedom and the autonomy that is what the United States is supposed to stand for. I would suggest getting a copy of the US Constitution, because it's important that you're familiar with the amendments. There's 27 amendments and 10 Bill of Rights. You need to know what they are. You need to know what your rights are. And unfortunately, this is going to lead to a revolution. I mean, fortunately, but unfortunately, like I don't advocate for violence, but I grew up in LA, and I remember when I was young, they had the LA riots. And although it was kind of scary, it brought change, because Rodney King did not deserve what those police officers did to him. And it was one of the most publicized crimes in the 90s. And so sometimes we need this kind of brutality and this kind of frustration in order to motivate us. And so the best way that you can protest is your dollar. I have deleted Amazon. I no longer shop at Walmart. I never really was a Target shopper because I just would buy a bunch of random stuff. But support companies that support you, and support companies that support people that maybe aren't you. Because it's so easy to think, oh, well, that'll never happen to me. But a lot of people throughout history thought that until it was their turn. And so we have to really stick together, and we have to keep communication open, and we have to do what we have to do to survive this situation. I still feel like this isn't finished, and people can call me crazy. I really don't care. Like, I feel like there's going to be some profound, findings over the next, I would say, definitely by mid-March. So hold on to your hats, you guys. Use your dollar as protest. Love ya. Bye.